All right, let's go for the last video in this chapter then. It's going to be solving proportions, and we have actually done this before. I should just have to mention to you, cross multiply, and you'll go, oh yeah, I remember what to do. So if I have 10 over 8 is equal to n over 10, I multiply those two together and get 100. And I multiply those two together and get 8n. Notice I don't make a fraction of those. I set those equal to each other. And then I divide both sides by 8. And I get n is equal to, what is that, 25 over 2? And again, some of your calculators are going to say 12.5. I'm done. We can get to the point where we can like a few of these, huh? So question number 6 then makes it a little bit more challenging for some students because of the fact that there's more than a monomial here, but it's still the same thing. I'm going to take the 7 and the b plus 5 and the 10 and the 5, and I'm going to multiply the 7 times the 5 and get 35. And then I'm going to multiply the 10 times the b minus 5. And I'm going to write that down separately and then go ahead and I'm going to use my distributive property because I want to make sure everybody sees where that 50 comes from. And now I just add 50 to both sides and come up with 85, divide both sides by 10, and get 8.5. That's really all there is to it. Let's try another one. Number 16. Number 16 has two binomials in it, not just one binomial. So then we're going to have 5 over r minus 9 is equal to 8 over r plus 5. Again, cross multiply. And I'm going to write them again just so that you can see that I am using my distributive property. I'll write it down without the distributive property as an equal sign. Use my distributive property. And solve that for r. So I'm going to subtract 5r on both sides and get 3r over here. Add 72 to both sides and get 90. What is that? 7. And divide both sides by 3 and get 97 over 3. Okay. So pretty much when the problems are set up for you, then that's what you have. The only other concern that some students might run into is a concern about word problems. And yes, we are going to have some word problems in this section, so be prepared for them to be there. Okay. So the only thing and the only piece of advice that I'm going to give you here is that I'm going to use my cross multiply. I'm going to use my proportion, which means I am going to make a fraction equal to another fraction. And the issue that I have to worry about is, are they the same description in the same spots? So for example, 2 is talking about bags of chocolate chips. So if I put that on the top, then I have to put bags of chocolate chips on the top of the other one. Notice it doesn't tell me how many chocolate chips it's talking about in the other situation. 4 is about batches of cookies. So if I put the 4 on the bottom, then on the other one I need to put something about batches of cookies. So that would be 8. So the problem then becomes 2 over 4, and I don't know how many bags of chocolate chips. Excuse me, but I do know how many batches of cookies. I cross multiply and get 16 is equal to 4x, and so I get x is equal to 4. Yes, I know. You could have come up with this answer in your head, but I just wanted to make sure that we talked about how you set those proportions up and then go ahead and cross multiply them to get the answer. Not a bad section to look at. That's all there is in this chapter, is working with rational equations. So again, if you need some help on this, let me know. Most students don't struggle too much with this part, no as near as much as they do the earlier parts of the chapter. But again, if you need help, let me know.